Hey friends, so today I am starting out a little self-care video. It's been kind of a long couple weeks, and I think this time of year is difficult for everybody, or at least most everybody. So I wanted to just take you along a self-care day with me, and we're also gonna be doing like a little Q&A. You guys have sent in some questions, which thank you if you did. If you didn't, there will be another one, I am sure. So follow me on Instagram. Obviously subscribe to my YouTube channel. Anyways, I want to just take you along and let's get started. The first thing I normally do on a day where I'm like really planning self-care is I take off all my jewelry. That usually means I'm cleaning it and cleaning my piercings as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and take out all of my piercings. While I take out the other side, let's go ahead and just answer a question. I'm really excited about them. You guys came up with some really cool questions, really good questions. Let's start easy. Somebody asked, what are all your pets' names and how old are they? My husband and I recently got a dog. He's gotta be like 9 months old now, and his name is Dexter. Then we have Goblin. She is a little black cat. She's almost 3 now, I think. I'm such a bad cat mom. Wow. The last cat that we have and pet that we have is Casper. Her name actually is Casper Bella. I believe she's 10 years old. Those are my pets. Those are the pets I have. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through and do some skincare routine. I'm gonna fix my eyebrows and wash my face, that sort of stuff. So I am going to do that, and then we will get back to more questions. Okay, face is washed. I'm gonna do a face mask. I have like this green tea mask stick, and they're so nice. But while I do this, it's the perfect time for questions. Another person asked, what tips do I have about becoming a pet parent? And I think this is a really good question because I've done it now 3 times. Not that I'm an expert. My number one tip is just have the time. Ethan and I wanted to get a dog for a very long time before we got one. Part of the reason we waited so long was because we were in school. We just didn't have the time to commit to taking care of a dog. Know that it is going to take even more time than you think it's going to take. The other thing that I would say is huge when you become a pet parent is approach it with the compassion and patience that you would treat a child. Because I have seen a lot of people get really frustrated with animals and pets because they throw up on the floor or they, have an accident in the house. And as frustrating as those things are, and they are frustrating, believe me, if you wouldn't scream and yell at an infant about it, you probably shouldn't scream and yell at a pet about it, and that can be really hard because you want them to just do it right. But unfortunately, they don't understand that. We all make mistakes, and animals are not excluded from that. Okay, we have roughly 20 minutes now until this is ready to be washed off. So it's a great time for questions. So someone asked, when do you choose to buy new and when do you choose to buy secondhand? That's kind of a tricky question, only because I so rarely would choose to buy new over secondhand. A lot of my furniture is from Facebook Marketplace. My bed, Facebook Marketplace. My side tables, Facebook Marketplace. So we have a lot of pieces in our house that are Facebook Marketplace or secondhand. Yes. Did you want to tell me more? Thank you. That's good to know. That's Casper's 2 cents on thrifted versus new. When I decide to buy something new, it's typically because it's something that either I don't have access to secondhand, or I don't feel comfortable buying it secondhand. So in that regard, intimates are something that I buy new. Usually I buy from Packed Organics. I love Packed. I have all kinds of their underwear and socks, so if you haven't checked them out, I highly recommend. Buying new versus buying secondhand is a question of where can you compromise? What in your life can you think of that you have access to find secondhand? And you'll probably be surprised that it's a decent number of things, like furniture, books, clothing. Clothing's a huge one. I don't think I've bought new clothes besides intimates in Another person asked, how do you find good thrifted items? Just some general tips. I typically look for material. So I have a couple tops that are 100% silk, and I have a couple tops that are fully cashmere. So it really comes down to, are they natural materials? Are they materials that I know are gonna hold up? And that doesn't mean it has to be those materials. Polyester actually holds up really, really well. Unfortunately, that means it doesn't break down easily in the long run. It can hold up if crafted well. So that's the other tip. If it is a synthetic fabric, look at the manufacturer. For example, I wouldn't buy Shein clothes from the thrift store, and it's not necessarily because I disagree with Shein, which I do, highly, but because their garments are not well made. So even if I'm buying it secondhand, that garment probably isn't going to have a very long lifespan where it's wearable. That's kind of my 2 cents, is like, look at the material, look at the manufacturer of that item, and think about whether or not you'd be willing to repair it. And think that's how you find good items at any thrift store. And just in general, like, check the seams, check the buttons, check the zippers. A really good tidbit if you are looking at anything with a zipper is test the zipper. If it catches, or if it seems like very rickety, it's probably not the best made item. Zippers are usually a really good telltale, I've found. As far as furniture goes, finding good items, honestly, things that you can use for multiple purposes sometimes is great. I, for one, move a lot, and so whenever I buy new furniture, I try to think about, can this be something I either resell, pass off to friends, or bring with me? Or really take the time to look at the piece, test it out, if it's a chair, sit in it, and determine whether or not you're going to be able to make any necessary changes if you needed. Someone else asked, how do you go about picking out clothes or putting together outfits? If you haven't already seen the capsule wardrobe where I tried that for 30 days, go check that out because I think that would really answer this question quite well. But I'll try and give you like a cut down version of it. When I go to put together an outfit, I think of comfort first. Comfort above everything. And I never used to be that person, but like after college and the pandemic, I definitely transitioned to that kind of person, because if it's a day where I need a lot of spoons and I don't think I have the energy, just inherently, I will try and make myself as comfortable as possible because it makes it easier for me to get through other parts of my day if I'm not worried about what I'm wearing. When I'm putting together that kind of outfit, I think about, so comfort first, so that means like fit of things, and then I think about color. And I am a person that loves a black and white aesthetic, black and white clothing. I'm a neutrals girl to the end. With like pops of green. I love it. Day in, day out, I could wear that. So I typically pick a neutral and then decide if I want to add a pop of color from there. If not, I'll end up wearing all neutrals. And as far as picking out clothes goes, I really go for fit above all else. If it's a piece that is not quite as well made, but it feels really comfortable, I love it, and I know I'm gonna wear it tons and tons, I'll probably pick it up. I'll probably get it. Now we're getting into some design related questions, which you guys had a lot of design related questions, which I'm super excited about. I love design. The first one I want to answer is, how did you get into interior design? I got into interior design over the pandemic. A lot of you probably know, but some of you don't, that I went to school for theater, and during the pandemic I was not able to go into school and I was not able to experience those classes as much, so I was home and online a lot. And one of my favorite like pastimes and comforts over the pandemic was watching interior design YouTube, because I am of the philosophy that when your space feels good, it helps you feel good. And I have told people numerous times who are close to me, if my space is chaotic, I feel chaotic. So that is one of the main reasons that I decided to pursue interior design, is from a personal relationship with how I feel in a space. But once I was able to go back to school and be in person a little bit more, that love for design didn't really stop. And I actually got recruited to a furniture and design company, which I worked for roughly a year, and that is the job that I left in order to pursue my own channel. And with that, I was working with clients and helping them design their space. I was helping them pick furniture and pull together rooms in their house. And it was both one of the most stressful jobs I've ever had and the most rewarding jobs I've ever had. The excitement people would express when they came in and after we had worked together, sometimes for 4 hours or more in an appointment over their design, but when they left, they would like breathe this sigh of relief. Even if they hate the process of design, they would breathe this sigh and be like, it's gonna be so worth it when it's done. I think that just goes to show, like, people know when their space reflects them and feels good. And that is something that brings me so much joy, when I can help other people feel like that and have that moment of like genuine excitement or joy over the way that their space is going to help them feel or reflect for them. And so that's why I ended up staying with interior design and pursuing my channel, because I wanted to help people in a broader sense and give them the tips and tricks that I've learned as a new designer, a broader scale. Okay, I think that's enough questions for right now. I am going to sit back and read for a couple minutes while I wait for this to finish drying, and then we will touch back and continue with our self-care day. So I'm gonna go read my book. That sounds so nice. I took a little break. I ate some lunch, and now I'm just kind of doing my hair. You can see I've got half of it clipped up. I just wanted to kind of curl my hair and get more ready for the day, I guess. I figured while I do this, I got halfway through it and I was like, I should answer questions while I'm doing this. So that's what we're gonna do. One question that I got was, how do you get inspiration for your designs? Typically when I'm like looking to start a design, I go on Pinterest. And I know that's kind of like an overused tip, but honestly I find it to be one of the most helpful, because it's really a place where there's a whole collection of ideas, and like ideas from all kinds of people, all kinds of styles. What better way to find what you really like than to see tons and tons of examples of things? So that's usually where I start. Now I've had a Pinterest for like ages, so I have my style pretty well curated on there. But if you're trying to decide what your style is, I would go on and look up just like a couple different style terms, whether it be like wabi-sabi or organic modern or transitional. Like, just know you're gonna see tons of variations of a certain style, because what is mid-century modern to me might not be mid-century modern to someone else. And design is so intermixed at this point that it's pretty rare to have something that is truly 100% only mid-century modern. And part of that is because mid-century modern came from modernism. So you're inherently gonna get like mixed styles. So just keep that in mind. Like, you're never gonna be just contemporary or just modern. Like, it's pretty much always gonna be mixed with something else. Usually I'll look up an element in my space that I can't change. So for example, one of the designs I'm working on right now is actually my bathroom. Because I'm in a rental, I can't change the tile and I can't switch out the countertops. That's not something the owner wants me to do. So I'm going to have to work around those. So sometimes what I'll do on Pinterest is I'll type in modern bathroom design with brown tiles and see what comes up, because I have brown tiles, and it'll help me kind of get an idea of how to work with those if I'm lacking in ideas and need some inspiration. And try and pick out a couple that you like and notice about them what it is that you like about them. And I usually go from there. Good boy. Okay friends, so I got dressed. Obviously I did some more makeup. You also just saw me clean my jewelry. It's like nice and shiny now. I also did my nails. So now I'm going to paint my toenails the same color, and we're gonna answer some more questions. We left off on some design related questions, and someone asked, what is your design style? Now, you've seen, I think, one makeover from me now, and there are plenty more coming, I promise. But I would not say that the style I'm using in my apartment is my style. This apartment is very modern industrial, and I like modern industrial style, but it's not my personal style. My personal style, I like to think of as like vintage Parisian, or like vintage Parisian apartment style, where it's got black windows and like crisp white walls with crown molding, gold accents. I also love a pop of color. I love neutral palettes with like a jewel tone. Love it, love it. But part of design, I think, is catering to your space. And so unfortunately that style just really doesn't work in this apartment. And also I have a husband, and his style is very much not my style. So we kind of have to find some middle ground and design in a way that we both like. Another person asked for tips for renters when they can't paint. I think this is a really good question, especially for city living or even just general apartment rental living. When you can't paint, there are still a ton of options. One of the biggest ones right now that people are doing is peel and stick wallpaper. I think peel and stick wallpaper is great, but some rentals may still have concerns about them removing from the wall cleanly. My top tip for removing peel and stick wallpaper from your walls is to make sure you heat it up as you peel it away. That can be really easily done with a hairdryer. If the owner of the unit is still apprehensive about that, you can opt for other solutions like using command strips to hang artwork. I know that there are a couple companies that specifically do art that is like stick-on art, and I think that that's a really great solution as well. Another note for peel and stick wallpaper, it's possible to get solid color peel and stick wallpaper. So let's say you wanted to paint your wall green. Just get a green colored peel and stick wallpaper. Another question that was asked was, what are your favorite design palettes? I love neutrals. I love warm neutral palettes as well. I would have to say my favorite palette to design with is like an ivory color, a sandy taupe color, and then sage, like sage green, olive green, and then like a dark brown. I think that that would be my favorite color palette that I can think of right now. That said, I do love anything really high contrast. Anything with high contrast, I tend to be very attracted to. Okay, my nails are done and I'm just gonna go relax for the rest of the day and we will check back in later in the day. Hi friends, it's been a very long day for me. I'm trying to be quiet because Ethan went to bed and I don't want to wake him up, but I wanted to just check in one more time and answer one last question before I relax for the rest of the night. I'm gonna take a bath, which sounds so nice. The question that I want to answer is, how do I make a room feel cozier? And there are a lot of ways to make a room feel cozy. I think varied lighting, warm lighting, can really help a space feel cozy. Otherwise, one of the top tips I've used and seen in my time as a designer is varied textures. Specifically, varied textured textiles. What that means is using different textures in your soft goods or upholstered items throughout a space and really layering them well. So if you have a velvet, pair it with a nubby texture. If you have a faux fur, maybe pair it with something that's really tightly woven and more of like a flat weave. I just find that including a variety of textures really helps a space feel more cozy and comfortable. And when you look in magazines, if you look at a space that is designed to be minimal and modern, you'll notice that it's a lot more clean lined, far fewer textures, far less variation than something that is designed to be more contemporary, traditional, transitional, cozy, homey, and all of those are going to have far more throw pillows in varying colors and textures and fabrics and fleece blankets or knit blankets all thrown on the sofa. So things like that can really help make your space feel cozier, and you don't need that many extra goods in order to make that happen. We're talking like 2 pillows in different textures and maybe a throw blanket. It will immediately make your space feel so much more cozy than it would be without them. All right, friends, I hope that that was fun, answering some questions and coming with me on just a little self-care day. If I didn't answer your question, I'm sorry. You guys had a lot of good questions and I did not get to all of them, so we will absolutely do more in the future. But until then, have a great night, day, evening, wherever you are, and I will see you next time.